Whether you're commuting, chilling at home, or just taking a break, we've got you covered with the hottest news, fascinating guests, and the occasional surprise. Buckle up and get ready to get caught up with us.
Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Get Caught Up podcast. I am your host, Untamed, and I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Crystal.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna learn the directions after a while. So there we go.
Yeah, there we go. We got it.
I'm gonna get my practice in ahead of time this time.
Yep, we got it.
Well, as you guys know, we are back again. We are in the quarterfinals, and we need y'all to move on our people to the semifinals. So here is our third quarterfinal game of the month. Moving on to the big ship, okay? To the big ship. So it is LB versus LB.
Right? I mean, and it's funny when we picked this, we was like, we put love up against love. All right,
He's
let's
like,
do it.
let's do it. Let's
Let's
do
do it.
it. So definitely, once again, here are the rules. This is the mission. We need whatever book series you want to see out of these two move on. You must vote. You gotta vote. It ain't but one day. So I need you to vote and move on. No
No
time.
tiebreakers.
Exactly. Nothing. Pick one and keep pushing. And let us
That's
know
all.
so that we could get down to the championship game. So you just gotta let us know. So what we're gonna do is, of course, we're gonna hop right on into it. So I think I even got is this my faith, love, hope, the sweatshirt. Yep. So I'm representing a little love today, unintentionally, but I guess intentionally.
Yes. I mean, we
Absolutely,
both got good love stories.
we sure do. We
We
absolutely.
do.
And if
Yes.
you guys know me, y'all should absolutely know what my favorite series by Love Belvin is because of the way I showed out when we actually did the discussion about this. Okay, um,
Mm-hmm.
I showed out, and if you missed it, go back and catch it. It was crazy phenomenal. But I am going to be rooting for and pushing my team, that big Tory, that big Ashton Spencer, my Muted Hopelessness series. It's 3 books. It's my Muted Love. It's I think it's my Muted Hopelessness the second, and then my Reckless Hope is third. I hope I got all the titles right. But that is it. You guys who are fans, you already know what it is. It's 3 books. So that's what I'll be talking about a little bit, giving you my 5 reasons why I feel like this is the clear winner. So, Crystal, what you doing tonight?
Well, I'm gonna just say yes. I love that series too. You know, I love me some Ashton and Tori. Love some Ashton and Tori. But tonight, 2 words. Trent. Actually, I want to say his name like this. So it's gonna be 3 words. He's Trent motherfucking Bailey. That's all I got to say. He's Trent motherfucking Bailey. That's it. So I'm repping love in the red zone. Again, Love Belvin, book 1, and the Connecticut Kings. When I read this book, I couldn't put it down. You know what? I can say this. I'm having a lot of sleepless nights when I mess with Love Belvin. And it ain't because I got a man next to me. It's because I'm reading her men that I want next to me.
wanting them to be next to you.
Yeah, wanting them to be next to me. I mean, if you want to make a Ashton Crystal Bailey sandwich, yes, I'm here for it. Put me in the middle, coach. Put me in the middle.
Not in the middle, coach.
Put me in the middle, coach. Yep.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So, you guys, I'm going to shoot these covers so y'all can see the covers right quick.
Yeah, yes.
That is 3 covers from the Muted Hopelessness series right there. And then this is Love in the Red Zone from the Connecticut.
Beautiful. Right.
So yes. And if you know anything about Love Belvin, you know that even the Connecticut Kings is definitely a huge part of the Muted Hopelessness series as well. So yes, it is definitely love against love.
Love against love.
So who want to go first? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm about to sell Trent Bailey.
Go ahead and spell it.
On the street.
Spell it, girl. Spell it.
Yes. All right. So, Love in the Red Zone by Love Belvin. Can you tell the difference between a distraction and a blessing? It should be simple, but sometimes what we think is a distraction can actually be a turning of the tide required to bring life full circle to a place of blessing. Meet Trent Bailey, Trent M. Bailey, because his name is Trent motherfucking Bailey. I'm going to stick by that. Yes. Who is fighting for the right to continue his stellar professional football career after enduring striking legal woes in the recent past. Trent cannot and will not blow his second chance for anyone. After all, this is the blessing he's been praying for. And I know I shouldn't say MFing because he a praying man, but Trent can. And so after receiving confirmation that staying focused is all he needs, is what he aims to do. No distractions. That's until he bumps into 2 unexpected overnight guests. So let me just say this real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to reading what I'm reading. So if y'all do not know, I'm a huge Leroy Hawkins fan. I mean, huge. Like, I love that man. So as I'm reading the synopsis, I get an alert, and it's his big, gorgeous face. So it kind of, I kind of like stuttered a little bit. So sorry about that, but that's why. And because it's Leroy Hawkins popping up on my screen. Now, Jade Matthews is doing everything she can for herself and her young son, Kyrie. After journeying through her own bumps in the road, she's finally getting it together. She's doing what she has to do to make sure her family of 2 stays afloat. Life setbacks won't stop Jade from providing for her little one, even though she fumbles each pass thrown at her. What starts out as a temporary favor turns into rapid passion. There's one agenda here, but getting to the same meeting point has never been more difficult. Fighting their way through trust and self-esteem issues, the 2 must meet in the red zone, where you may think you're safe, but life has a way of intercepting blessings and turning the tide. So it says Love Belvin is Christina C. Jones, CCJ, collaborate on a series of football romance starring 2 football greats who so happens to be in for the biggest play of their lives, for their hearts. So quarterback Trent Bailey and wide receiver Jordan Johnson give their all out on the green. But what happens when the 2 friends encounter true love? So like I said, this is the first book in the Connecticut King series. So my 5 reasons. The 5th reason, I go, fingers. So my 5th reason is it's book 1 in the Connecticut King series. The Connecticut King series. Like, that's it. That's all. That's what I'm gonna say. That's the 5th one. The fourth one is, what I loved about this book is two complete strangers that were destined to be with each other. The way she put these two together and it meshed so well was freaking phenomenal. Like, he was literally in a place, like, kind of, we could say he was at the wrong place at the right time.
Okay.
And Jade needed some help, and he stepped in. This man ain't know them from Adam, Eve, Steve, B. I mean, any of it. But he was there to help.
Okay.
And I loved that.
Okay,
So,
family.
right, he helped them, like, you know. And just as I said that, I'm gonna just tell a little bit how they met. So her son played football, and at the time Trent was coaching the little kids. So she was there watching him practice, and she was basically, like, by then she was kind of down on her luck. So when practice was over, she went, they went to go leave. He came over to talk to her and went to go leave, and the car wouldn't start. Her car wouldn't start. So it's like, okay, well, let me help you. I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. So then eventually she kind of gave in and let him help. He took her to where she lived. And when she get there, the lights are off. Like, it was just so much stuff. So, him being a gentleman, him being a praying man, him believing that he is doing the right thing, said, you know what? Come stay with me.
Come on, hallelujah.
Right. So it's like I said, he was at and I mean, even though it was at a football field, I just feel like he was there. He was what she needed at that time, and vice versa, because their relationship kind of grew so fast, but it made sense. Okay. But they both had trust issues. So that's my fourth one. Him being, what did I say my fourth one was?
Basically, him being a man's man.
Him being a man's man. So, like I said, number 5 is, because this is the Connecticut King series, Trent being a man's man. Number 3, even though Jay wanted to throw that stuff at him, she said, I'm gonna make him wait for it.
Okay. Make him
So
wait.
she
Let him earn
knew,
it.
yeah, make him earn it. She knew her. I feel like she knew her self-worth. Even though she did have issues within herself, she still knew that she had to be a little bit different with him. She couldn't just throw it out, because I felt like she felt more from the beginning with him. And him too, he's like, okay, they both felt to me like, this is who I want to be with, this is who I need to be with, but let me just back off. So she didn't give us like a fast romance. This was a nice little slow burn, just getting to see them grow into a couple, getting them to grow into a family, because now they're instant family. She has a kid. The second one, him protecting her when she needed it the most. Even though, like I said in the synopsis, that all he said for his second chance, he was not letting anyone get in the way. He knew that what he needed to do to help her can rail his career forever because of his legal troubles before. But because he's the type of man he is, he still was there. And my number one reason, Trent Bailey. Trent MF and Bailey. I said something else off camera, but I feel like I don't want to offend nobody, because I really said, that saying, young, dumb, and full of, I said, he young and he full of gum, but this nigga ain't dumb.
Exactly.
By a long shot. For him to be the age he was, this man was like a grown old man. Like, it was like he'd been here before. He was respectful. Like I said, he was a praying man. He had his pastor that he talks to every time. Everybody know his pastor is Mr. Pastor Ezra Carmichael. I mean, Pastor Carmichael is the whole LB universe pastor. Oof. So, it's just the fact that Trent, he did have issues within himself, but Trent worked on them issues, and he refused, regardless of love or not. I'm not going to let nothing else stand in my way to become the great quarterback for the Connecticut Kings. That's it. I dropped the mic. And the football.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right.
Now it's your turn. Let's go for it.
It's my turn. You know I came to tussle for my people because
You did.
this is my look. This is my MF series. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely love and adore this series. I will only read the synopsis for book one. Um, for the essence of time, but, and then also I'll give you my 5 reasons as well. And I'm gonna do like you did, Crystal. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1, right?
All right.
In reverse instead of 1 to 5. So
All right.
here is the synopsis for one of my forever book babes.
Yes.
And book
Yes.
babes, actually, book babes.
Mm.
Um, it is the muted hopelessness, but I say the Ashton and Tori story, right?
Right? Because that's what this is, the Ashton and Tori story.
The Ashton and Tori story. So here's the synopsis. Never judge a book by its cover. One of the world's most common cliches. Though sage advice, the age-old aphorism is rarely followed. Take Tori McNabb and Ashton Spencer, for instance, who, based on appearances, believe they have no reason to breathe the same air. But when startling circumstances align their paths on the campus of Blakewood State University, the two have no choice but to look beyond their exteriors. McNabb is a fighter in life as well as in the ring. She knows what she's capable of, and she doesn't want to be tested. Her only goal is to never return to Millville, New Jersey. She just wants to fly under the radar on the BSU campus. Spencer, the most popular athlete on campus, is well on his way to success as a professional athlete. He is confident that the stars are aligned in his favor, but being tested by the underdog is something he thought he'd never fail at. Join this unlikely pair on a journey inside the pages of their ugly covers. Now, of course, it's intended for mature listeners, right?
Right.
So, definitely, 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 that is the synopsis for book one. Because I will say this entire series covers, I think it spans about 15 years of their life.
Right.
So, because we meet them in college, his senior year, her freshman year, and then book two goes into that extended year, past that year, and then sometime, all the way up until
Mm-hmm.
what should have been summer graduation fun, love life. And then we book three, fast forward, I think 15 years later, they're adults and they get realigned again. So my 5, I had to explain that because my 5 reasons covers the gamut of the 3 books, even though I
Mm-hmm.
only read book one synopsis. So my 5th reason is one that is near and dear to all of us readers' hearts, especially ones who listen to audiobooks. Emmanuel fucking Ingram. Okay?
That's it. That's it. I'm mad because now you probably win this. Yeah, because
So
Manny,
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 I don't care. And Emmanuel does very well on everything that he narrates. Okay? Him and Jacoby were always like this. Serious.
mm-hmm.
And because he's an amazing narrator. However, he is no longer actually narrating right now. So this is one of the, I want to say, I'm not for sure, but it's one of the more popular series, one of the last few reads that we get from old Manny Fresh.
Yeah.
So I would
Yep.
just say that because if you have not, a lot of people who are newer to audiobook over these past couple of years may not remember Emmanuel Ingram. But I beg of you to go listen to this entire series and a few others that has
And
Emmanuel
you will
Ingram's
see
name on
why.
it, and you will be like us, crying and begging for him to come back. Okay.
Please,
So
yes.
I will say this. I don't care who you listen to him as, though. He will forever and always and only be the Ashton Spencer.
Ashton Spencer. Yes. Ashton Spencer.
The Ashton Spencer.
Mm-hmm. Like
Whew.
Jacoby is black. Emmanuel is Ashton Spencer.
Ashton Spencer.
That's it. That's all. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, yes. Number 4, the exploration of them together.
Oh.
Not the sex was fucking sexing, okay? I would never take away from that because baby,
Especially when they wasn't penetrating.
listen, them two discovering each other sexually intimately is otherworldly, but just the exploration of them finding them helping each other to find who they are individually, then together as a couple. The details, just having someone who is your person.
Right.
And you ain't got to have the world in your business. It could just be y'all. And y'all vibing and nobody understand why, but y'all get it. Y'all understand it. Like, and it ain't meant for nobody else to understand. It's just for y'all to understand. And honestly, they had more people against them than for them for a very long time. And up until read the book, read the series, but I'm just gonna say it like this: it didn't matter because they were solid. Some shit happened and they got unsolid, but it's not the typical. You got to actually read the story, okay, to understand what it was that actually happened and why it was that both sides were very valid. Had their valid reasons to get unsolid for a second. But
my heart just broke. That just remembering that it just broke.
Yes, because they went through. When I tell you they lived a life. Even when they were separated, they lived a life together. Like they are lifetime partners together or separated, lifetime partners. Okay, so get into it. Number 3, I just gotta put it to you like this because I gotta give it. A lot of times when we get stories like this, we get so swept up into the men characters, right? But I gotta give it to my girl Tori. Listen, this is what I gotta say about Tori. And this should have been her theme song. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say it how I gotta say it. Hated the love of the dog on top. And I'm gonna shot homie until I stop. Go ahead and MVP me. I'm boxing their Astros MVP and I ain't going nowhere so you can get to know me.
Me, right? That's it. That's it.
That is it about her. She ain't going nowhere so you can get to know me. Let me tell you something. She was a boxer and she was a fighter in real life and in that ring, baby. And you don't have to feel her. And it wasn't on no cocky stuff because she was real low key and she wanted to fly there. But she was somebody whose light shines so bright you could not ignore her. And you was not gonna be able to dim her light no matter what you did. If anything, she was detrimental to herself. Because she didn't feel at one point that she was worthy of a lot of things because of her history and her family background. But nevertheless, everybody always saw the light in her, even when she couldn't see it for herself. And let me tell you, that underdog spirit, that fighter spirit in her came out every time.
She became everything she wanted to be in life and then some.
And got then everything she deserved. And everything everybody thought she couldn't be and then some.
Yep.
So yes, Tori. So my number 2 reason, and I actually toggled with this being number 2 and number 1, but my number 1 reason, one out of y'all to see why. But my number 2 reason, and I ain't gonna even put too much on this because I want y'all to read it, but just understand, you'll understand it when you get to it. The bitch died. Crystal had to go.
I mean,
So
I
you
mean,
know
I can't
what?
wait to see what number one is because that should have been the number one reason. But let's see.
Now you see what I'm saying?
That
I
bitch,
talked to the bitch died, and that's it. And that's all we gonna say about it.
she was a nat. She, whoo.
The bitch died, and that's all we gonna say about it.
Yeah.
Because read it and get to it, and you'll understand.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm glad. I'll say that, and I'm glad.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And I'm glad. But the number one reason you should read this book, the number one reason you should read this book, Ashton, that nigga felt let me tell you, Ashton, when you met him, you thought he was a grade A asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But he had just had a moment and he was acting out of character.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see his true character, which wasn't too long into first book. Baby, he grabbed you and he ain't let you go.
At all.
He grabbed your heart and he didn't let you go. And another thing, he is someone who he comes from a background of elite type of people, but his family isn't like that. So he has a balance. He know how to code switch because he grew up on both sides of the road. You know what I'm saying? He grew up with his down home, ghetto ass family, but his family, his mom and dad, they had money and they had wealth. So he knew how to be in the street and he knew how to be not in the street. Like he knew how to
That
really
man was in the streets. He wasn't even in the streets. He was in the
yes,
streets.
exactly. He knew how to come up out of there and be this well-rounded individual. But if he had to go there, he knew how to go there too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one of those things. I ain't really about this life, but I can be about the life if
I
I
can
have.
be about this life.
I can be about the life, but I'm not gonna stay about it. I'm only gonna visit that if I got to go there because what I'm trying to do is build continue this family wealth. You know what I'm saying, and continue to build. And he wanted to go into the National Football League. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He can't.
He had plans.
So, he had he was his business savvy, the way he handled his things, the things that he was introduced to, in that life,
Mm-hmm.
able to present that to Tori in a sense, you know, to introduce her to a cultured life, and I'll say it like that, a cultured life, a better life, than what she was used to, was just so beautiful because he understood it at the age of 2021.
Right.
Like he was on a whole nother level than a lot of people his age because he had exposure to two different lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
And he stood firm in who he was, and it was like this. Yes, he had to go through some growing pains himself, but for the most part, Ashton was the man. He was the
He
man.
was. And we know it's like a big, debate on a lot of people didn't like him because they felt he was cheating. On
I know.
who? On
Okay.
who?
Yeah.
Because I'm still trying to figure out on who. Because if he had a conversation with her and said, "We are not together," and she said, "Okay, but can we still act like it and go to events together?" Who he cheating on?
Child, exactly.
Because she agreed to it.
She
Yes,
did.
he agreed to doing what he asked her to do, but who he cheat on?
Who he cheat? Not a damn person. And so,
The only person he cheated on
this
was
is why,
himself because he had to deal with her dumb ass.
and that's why I respect him because Ashton never shied away from the hard and the hard points of life and the tough conversations. He never shied away from it. He might have needed a moment, but he never shied away from it.
Yep.
you know, he was bred to be a man, and that's what I truly loved about him, and I loved his maturity at a young age, even in the points where he needed growth, because you can be mature and still have to grow.
That
And
is so true.
and he was that, you know, he was that. And so he was the ultimate book babe, a ultimate book babe. So yes, my number one reason is Ashton, that nigga Spencer.
Okay, so she got Ashton, that nigga Spencer, and I got Trey motherfucking Bailey.
Exactly.
Y'all pick.
So y'all pick. I mean, y'all, you know, we had to come in here and tussle. We put out our look. We put on our best armor, and we came out here and we battled. But now it's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Do you want LB Muted Hopelessness, or you want LB Love in the Red Zone? You gotta pick one. Gotta pick one.
Gotta pick one.
There can only be one.
No ties.
No ties. There can only be one. So if you don't like Ashton, do it for Tori.
I mean, that right there, that sums it up. That sums it up. But just do it for my praying man.
You do it for your praying man.
Over all of y'all to leave him and Jade alone.
So, absolutely. And of course, you're not going to go wrong regardless of who you choose, because they're all LB, right?
That's true. That's all we can say. It's Love Belvin.
It's just Love Belvin. So, that's it. That's all. We thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you come back tomorrow, because we're going to have our last quarter final before the semis. So you got to see who the last quarterfinal books that are going head to head. Vote for these, and we'll see you next time. And like I always say, until next time, don't forget to get caught up. Good night.
Bailey, 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 Bailey.
Tori, Ash.
You said forget Ashton. Let me say Tori. Yes.
Look, I started with her first.
Yes.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Thanks for getting caught up with the Get Caught Up podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, or iHeartRadio and leave us a review. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Get Caught Up Podcast, and let us know what you think about the show. See you in the next episode.